What system do you use to support the full implementation of Senate Bill 191?
Terry, as you know that in the district we design the LEAP framework for the past 4 years. I think that's a very wonderful tool to evaluate teachers. The model is about growth. It's not typically about strictly on evaluation. It's about growth. I think performance is very important in DPS and also very important here at Alice. We've been trained. We've been doing LEAP for the past 2 years. I think it had to do with SB 191 is all about teacher performance, and I think the district has doing a very good job to implement that program for all teachers in DPS. I think that's the protocol that we're using with all teachers here at Alice. We look at observations, weekly observation. We look at full observation. We look partial. We do walkthroughs. We do mini walkthroughs whenever we have time to do that. I think the teacher feel very comfortable with the process right now.
How do you monitor the impact of LEAP and those observations on student achievement?
Well, I think I don't think that we achieve our goal yet. I think we're working and heading to that directions. It probably would take maybe 2 more years to get exact what we want. I think right now we supporting teachers based on the weekly observations and give them support and skill and PD to support what we need. But that's the goal that if we have live observations, if teacher been very effective or distinguished, what did we see they align with student achievement? We take some time. It's not there yet. I think we will. But we also reviewing. Look at the data. We have the data planning every week with staff. Teacher can talk with their colleagues and come up with their different strategies and lesson plannings to support student achievement. But hopefully, at Alice, we will be achieve our goals in the next 2 years. Not say that we're not doing our job. We are doing our job, but there's a lot of variety of things that we had to think about, and really intensive PD, individualizing PD for teachers. That's what we're doing right now. Hopefully, we can show some growth by the end of this year.
What system or systems do you use for teacher and non-instructional staff evaluation, walkthroughs, remediation plans, and other personnel action?
I've been doing it for many years, working with non-instructional staff like para-educators, paraprofessionals in every classroom. But when you go in on the weekly observation or full observation, you see the group dynamic in the classroom, who's doing what and why they're doing this. And teacher have been assigning a group of students they probably be working with. They do a lot of planning before they do that. They discuss the result. They look at the outcomes at every lesson, and from that point they planning for the next lesson. You can see how I don't supervise all paraprofessionals in the classroom. Teachers do that. So you can see that how the plan put in place when you might have 3 staff. You have 1 teacher and the other 2 staff working joint together in different group setting for guided reading or reading conferences. So you can see that if you have any concern about certain things, I think the step number 1, you will be working with teachers. Say, okay, tell me more about how you're using your paraprofessional in your classroom. What have been successful that you've been noticed that what kind of training that you need to give it to a professional, anything you can do in school, or maybe we can asking for some expert in our school to provide that kind of support or PD for a professional. And also you look at how our kid relate to the instruction during that time with 2 or 3 people in that room. If there is concerns about the non-instructional staff, then we definitely have to look at what did we do to support your professional classroom going back to PD trainings, be very structured with their scheduling, and go from there. I think that's really our job to make sure that everybody's in this building receiving the PD that supporting them to helping students in their classroom.
How are you utilizing professional development to meet the needs of teachers?
Well, a couple of years ago, we used like PD for all teachers. It's pretty much like one size fits all. And whatever the district asks us to do on our blue and green day, that's what we do, our PD, and we follow the protocol. And like 2 days ago, we did, the standards had to do with writing, common core standards, and I think we did what we did. But as you know, in the PD, you might have teachers who are a little bit more advanced, or maybe and they don't need certain things, like a lot of easy step. They probably want a more challenging step that they can work with our teacher. So this year at Alice, what we did, we do a lot of individualizing PD. So like, they look at grade level, we look at, that's the feedback from teacher asking us to do that, not because we want them to do that. I mean, every PD, we have our feedback, survey, we look at the school-wide survey, and when our teacher leaders sit down together and plan for the PD based on the need of each grade level, and occasionally we assign them working with different peoples, like a mentorship, type of PD. For guided reading, we might be using people who well trained in guided reading, who helping a lot of new teachers. Our teachers still have difficulty how to do guided reading, that kind of thing. For math, it's pretty everyday math PD that we provided teachers when they need it. And I think we share ideas, during our common planning time when they was had them data team meetings on Thursday. They said, well, you know what? I taught this lesson, last week. I did a pretty good job with my kids. They got it, and you might have a next door teacher who says, you know what? I taught the same lesson, but that's only 30% of my students truly got the concept. What did you do that you can show me with that kind of thing? I think we're using each other's support to helping with each other, because I don't think when you talk about PD, it's like a blanket. It's like the umbrella. It's huge. I mean, there's so many things under that blanket. So by wasting our time by doing something like this, just give the whole general PD with anything more specific. What is the skill? What do we need for second grade? What do we need to get ready for part for 3, 4, 5? How can we learn from each other? What can we learn from the district-wide, the network PD? And I think that's the direction that we are going right now.
Do you prepare for LEAP observation feedback conversations?
It's like I said, for me personally, it depends. If I'm working with brand new teachers, I stick with the protocol, exactly what the indicator says, line by line, because I think that's what they need to build the foundation, to give the feedback to new teachers, because I think that's pretty much the roadmap for them. But for veteran teacher, I probably go a little bit more deeper for not only about student achievement, but strategy how to meet their goal at a certain point, and what can they do to support their colleagues. Because as you know, at Alice, every grade level we have teacher leaders to represent the school. And I think with LEAP, I think we need to spend a lot of time talking about a lot of individual students, a group of students that need certain things, certain skill to be able to be ready for example, if we talk about 3, 4, 5 for primary, we really focus on DIA, reading labels, everyday math, and that kind of thing. This year I kind of spend a little bit more time outside of the LEAP component a little bit. So I wanted to hear from the teachers and their teacher voice about how they can go beyond LEAP indicators, that they can bring everything into our school. there's a lot of things, as you know, on LEAP. We have indicator, expectation, student behaviors, and also for LEAP I look at maybe pull out 3 very important bullet when I'm working with certain grade level or certain teachers. I think that the model is about growth. It's not to evaluate you, it's not cut you, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. So, okay, as a principal in this building, what can I do to help you to moving from approaching to effective, or not meeting to approaching, or effective to distinguished. I think our goal, we want all teachers to get distinguished star, but there's a lot of things that they have to do to get there, including myself, because I also on leave for myself too. And we really want to take teacher back until, okay, have you really truly reviewing all that student behavior and teacher behavior, and what do you need? And sometimes they just say, well, I did it, but what did you do, and what is your plan to do for the rest of this year, for the next 3 months, that when we're having the final conversation with you, that you have enough evidence to show me and to support your ratings.
You ever had to dismiss someone or put someone on a performance plan?
You talk about in this LEAP system, or you talk about in my past?
Just as your experience as a principal.
Well, in my 10 years, I dismissed 2 teachers and counsel about maybe 3 or 5 teachers who so they can leave these professions based on many different reasons. It's not easy. It's very challenging, a lot of emotionals in that. But we have to think about our clientele, which is students. If we truly want to talk about putting students first, that's what you need to think about, student achievement. And I think my tip is to work with teachers to a certain point that they need to be able to demonstrate display their professionals or their performance, but we make sure that we have enough evidence, and I think we need to make sure that we provide support for our teachers and document everything that we did. It would probably take between 1 to 2 years. It's not easy to get rid of teachers, but and there's a process that you have to follow, the protocol that you have to follow too. But truly, we also have to be a little bit patient with certain group of teachers that they just need some extra help to be able to do their job, and make sure that you have a very intensive PD, a lot of supervisions, a lot of right now weekly observation would give us the good ideas and then good answer for what they be doing every day in the classroom. But also for me, when I look at teacher observation, I like to look at, okay, let's say that